Bitcoin is primed for a big move. Standard Chartered says Bitcoin is headed to 100,000. Why is it dumping then? Can anybody explain that? Yes, as a matter of fact, I can. We're going to talk about what's going on with the market right now, why everything's dumping, what's happening in the background. Should you be bearish? Is the bull run over? Spoiler alert, no. Also, SHIB is making some big moves. Will it pay off in a pump in the price? I think so. Galaxy Digital says that venture capital companies are still deep into crypto. You just don't see them. Also, Binance funding rate looking pretty high. So is there a big move coming for BNB pretty soon? Yeah, that's also getting ready to happen. Why are you bearish? Because you see price go down? Whatever. Also, when you look at this, the prices for cryptocurrencies, generally speaking, 88% of cryptocurrencies right now in the market that are in the top altcoins are back to January prices. Bitcoin's January price, however, is about 33 to 37,000. So what is going on and why is Bitcoin so high? And could we be looking for the super secret Star Destroyer downward movement that's going to screw and crater the entire crypto market? Nah, it's not going to happen. We're going to cover all that and more right after the jump. Remember, it's not financial advice, and buy a goddamn t-shirt.
I can read a chart like a Superman, and I've got a show that has a lot of fans. I'm streaming every day and almost every night. I've bought some Bitcoin because I see the light. You might wonder who I am, but don't forget that I'm the man. They call me please, I'll do any chart you want me to. They call me please, I'll break the crypto wallet down for you, for you, for you. I built a crypto channel streaming live at night, and I'm the only YouTube streamer who's always right. Every morning I go live and say to all you guys, don't fall for all these motherfuckers and their lies. You might wonder who I am, but don't forget that I'm the man. They call me please, I'll do any chart you want me to. They call me please, I'll break your crypto wallet down for you, for you, for you. I don't know what to do because my memberships are missing you.
Uh-oh.
What's going on, everybody? Got a new t-shirt design. I wanted to show it to you today. Don't stop believing. What are you waiting for? Go to the store. Order a shirt. Now back to the show. You don't really have to buy a shirt, but if you bought a shirt, that would be cool too. Anyway, good morning to everybody who good mornings. If you don't good morning, I don't give a shit. Good morning to you anyway, because it's my goddamn show and I get to tell you good morning. So good morning to you, even if it's evening and you're about to sit down for dinner. Good morning, dinner. Anyway, good morning to Andy KC, Crypto Sparky, Brian Bootyhead, Hammerside. We got Wilco Kashmir, Seeing is Believing, Jason Pollins, George Lopez Garcia in the house, Kathleen Blaze is here, Masonic Mike with a $10 bomb. Blaze, would you check out Dougal on Solana again? They just got listed on CMC and are being put on tier 2 exchanges. Soon a tier 1 exchange. Looks promising. As a matter of fact, it looked way promising. I told you guys that I thought there would be a correction. There was no correction on Dougal. Maybe if there was, it was a tiny correction, but after that, it continued to soar back to all-time highs. We'll check that out in just 1 second. Jay Locke, good morning. Vader Prime, good morning. Crypto Antagonist, Abundance Grace, Richard Caldwell, good morning. Richard Nelson, RW7610, VK. We've got Fid in the house. What is going on, my man? We've got Tony P, Carlos, Robert Freeman, Abimbola, Janet, and Aaron Thompson in the house. Good morning to everybody. Let's kick this off. But first, let's get into what we just talked about, and that was Dougal. So the expectation that we had over here, remember Dougal was coming, we saw that move, and it was coming down a little bit, and we're like, it's probably going to correct towards that downside. Well, maybe it did just a little bit, but then it exploded up to 702, market cap 7 million. When I say exploded, of course, that's all relative. It's not a gigantic market cap, but it is a very nice market cap, considering if you had gotten in at the 0.004 position, at least over here, you're up 200% on your investment, and you are looking really good and super happy about your position. However, if you got in here way early, then you are making a killing right now. As with any of these meme coins, as with all these meme coins, it is important to recognize that these things are pumps and they are dumps, and it doesn't matter how much stuff they do. When the venture capital companies are done with them, then the odds are 99%, 99.9% of the time, they are going to dump super hard. So if you are in profit, I would implore you to take your profit out of this as quickly as you possibly can and put yourself in a favorable position financially for yourself, and not worry about whether or not this is going to go to a $10 billion market cap. Spoiler alert, it's not. Pepe is going to be, of the Matt Fury characters, Pepe is going to be the big one. It'll maintain the big one. Brett might have a nice run because Brett was on base early, and because it's like one of the number one tokens on the base chain, might have a nice little run in it as well. Andy, maybe, but now you're getting pretty deep here. Matt Fury doesn't control crypto. He's got memes. That's it. So make your money, get your money as soon as you possibly can, and don't get caught holding the bag for somebody else. Don't be somebody else's exit liquidity. You control the market. Now, here's the thing. In the event that happens, in the event that you sell right here and it continues to go up, just know this, it's coming back down. It's coming back down. This move right here has not been explored on a downside at all. If you look at this, this thing has got to come down here for a correction down here at the twos. It looks like that's going to be the next kind of position. I don't know. It's defying expectations right now, but again, just take your profit. Make sure that you got your original investment out. And by the way, when I tell you that the best idea here would be to take profit something, look, if this thing runs and it only goes up 50%, take your original investment out and keep your 50% bag in. You don't have to have 100% bag. If it 3Xs, then take out 2/3 of it and leave a third in. If it 5Xs, take out 40% of it, at least 60%, whatever number you want to do. Just protect your original investment, because you got to win. You got an extra bag, and just let it ride. Just let something happen. Now, that being said, some of these things are just going to 10, 20x no matter what you do when we get to that bull run. Timing is everything. Community is everything. So there's certainly a possibility this thing is going to run to a very, very, very big number. So if you're in it to win it, and you can afford the risk of just chilling out and not being like staring at the chart constantly, needing to be stimulated by price movement, stuff like that. If you can just chill, take a deep breath and relax, then just chill, take a deep breath and relax, and let that bag work for you. If they continue to produce, then price going to continue to go up. Price not going up, by the way. Saitama had a very big dip yesterday, got eaten up, oddly enough, like in the last little while. But Solana had a nice big run and started to dip. So we're going to cover a lot of this. So let's get into it. So we had what we would call an explosive move coming into the chamber right now. Standard Chartered says that it's their belief that Bitcoin is going to go on a 60% rally. And that 60% rally is going to play out in August. So what they've said is this. On Tuesday, Standard Chartered's bank head of Forex and digital asset research, Jeffrey Kendrick, said a fresh all-time high for Bitcoin in August is likely, and then 100,000 before U.S. election. Kendrick's prediction hinges on Joe Biden remaining in the U.S. presidential election race, a scenario the market perceives as favoring a Donald Trump victory. The Standard Chartered analyst views Trump as Bitcoin positive and indicated there is a positive correlation between the former president's electoral odds and the price of Bitcoin. The logic here is that both regulation and mining would be looked at more favorably under Donald Trump. Alternative scenarios are this. Standard Chartered analyzed a model of least likely scenarios, but says that Biden could step out of the presidential election race in late July, saying this could cause Bitcoin's price to start dipping precipitously. Then he expanded on this possibility, adding that if Biden's Democratic candidate replacement is very credible, such as Michelle Obama, Bitcoin prices will stay soft. Bitcoin is a fantastic buy, even at this price right now. He said the key date on whether Biden stays in the race is August 4. This is the date in which Ohio law requires presidential candidates to be registered. So if Biden is still the Democratic nominee on August 4, he will still be so in the first week of November. In early June, Kendrick said he's sticking with his year-end price prediction of 150,000 and an end of 2025 forecast of 200,000 for Bitcoin. And he's sticking with all of that, saying that he believes that this is what the big moves are going to be. So you want 3x, 4x your bag, make sure you buy a lot of Bitcoin, because it looks like Bitcoin is set for a phenomenal run. Now, by the way, I mean, it would not hurt you to have one Bitcoin and go like a 3x along the way for a big, for a big move. I would be looking for the bottom, of course, see what your risk tolerance is down to, 30,000 just in case. And if you're in that range, I assume we'll never see 30,000 again. But if that happens, we'll see what happens. Timsky says, what do you think a Gavin Newsom bid will do to Bitcoin? I think it is my opinion that Gavin Newsom is going to be one of those pro-Bitcoin people. And he just hasn't come out and tipped the scale at all. But I get a feeling and a sense that what he would do is he recognizes that here's the thing. The part about Gavin Newsom that matters is he recognizes the sentiment in the room, and he's an affable, likable guy, and he wants your votes. So if he sees that we, the people, want Bitcoin, he wants Bitcoin. So that would be that would actually be a good move for the Democratic Party at this point, to move on to somebody younger, more vibrant, and but look, the only one that's going to make crypto explode is Donald Trump at this point. Okay, unless for some reason coming out of nowhere, Ro Khanna says I'm going to replace Joe Biden. If that's the case, that he becomes the most pro-Bitcoin nominee just by default. But at this point, still got to stick with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is still the man when it comes down to it. So let's move on here. Reasons why Bitcoin falls to 60K after a weekend pump. Now, everything that we've seen about this market so far has been that we got a shakeout this week. We saw the shakeout last week. We saw billions exiting the market, and we started to feel, well, here's the thing. I started to see pain. I started to see people saying, you know what, F this, I'm leaving the market. I saw people saying, well, it looks like the bull market is over. I started to see analysts who were clearly idiots saying that, oh, it looks like the markets, it looks like the bull. It looks like the bull run is over. Like, we've got just some wild stuff happening out here. Now, is that despair? That does not feel to me like despair. So when we saw the reversal coming in, and by the way, we're still going to test 71.5. That's where the money is. So we are going to get there. But what did we see? Well, we saw a change. We saw Mt. Gox, which is going to put, it's 9 billion total Bitcoin. Again, half of them been bought by OTC. So when they're released, they're immediately being bought by somebody, and it won't affect the chart, but there will still be about half of that supply that's going to be put into the open market. What does that do for the Bitcoin price? Well, if you're pragmatic about it, and you're institutional traders were up in past several hours, institutional wallets that are usually dormant during the night hours in the United States were awake, and they were selling off Bitcoin, because what happened was you saw an enormous spike in certain measurements, and some of those measurements that you saw were the number of Bitcoin on chain. You saw this massive spike of Bitcoin on chain in the last couple hours. And when that happened, people freaked out, and they were like, uh-oh, here comes the Mt. Gox. Let's sell right now, and let's see where it shakes out. So that's the reason that you're watching it fall. Will it continue to fall? I mean, I want to say it might have already done it. I don't know what the market looks like now. Yeah, it looks like we might be reversing. Bitcoin price was down to, I want to say a little 59,600. It looks like a little while ago. And at 59,000... yeah, 59,620 seems to be where Bitcoin had fallen last night. And then today it's already bought up to 60,400. So could we have swept down there and got what we needed to get out of it? I'll be honest with you, I don't think so. I think that there's more downside coming. To me, it looks like the most likely scenario is, since we're close to it, is to touch this 200 MA. I mean, the market likes what the market likes, right? And the last time we came down here, we didn't touch it. This time, same thing. We didn't touch it. We're kind of moving adjacent to it right now. So maybe, just maybe, this is like a 180 day or something like that. So it could be a good sign, but these things tend to they tend to bounce off of these ranges, and you don't make that shit up, because if you come over here and you look, like, that becomes this area, and the 200 MA is a very important bounce sort of area. When we miss it right here, we come up. When we come back down, we go below it, like that. We're coming back to the 200 at some point. So, and it's starting to level out just a little bit. If you just look at it, just kind of close your eyes, and you see here it kind of leveled out. Looks like it might be spiking again pretty soon, but we'll see what happens as far as this goes. I think it's going to hit, since it's already close to it. So we'll probably see a dip down to 58,005. Something like that over the next day or two. And then maybe we'll see full on just balls to the wall reversal. Now, there is a rumor that the SEC is going to announce today the launch date of the Ethereum ETFs. In the event that happens, let's go back and let's look at what happens when we get a mad spike right here. We could be looking at a Bitcoin from 3,000 to 36 in a short period of time. So if we're looking at that, let's say 2 days, if we look at that, then boom, we're looking at over $4,000 Ethereum, in my opinion, in the next, if we get that announcement, I think Ethereum is going to immediately start running up towards 4,000. So we'll see whether or not they make the announcement today. But again, big rumor that it will happen. So let's move on here. Bitcoin trades below 61,000 as equity indices hit new highs. Wait a minute. Equity indices hit new highs. If we're coming down, if the market's over, if it's all cooked, why are the indices so good? And if you're not recognizing the fact that you're being manipulated right now, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention at all. You are being manipulated. That's the way that this works. Bitcoin price went below 59,600 as it continued to trade sideways and slid down below 60,500. The largest cryptocurrency by market cap is up 35% year to date, seeing a high price over 73,000. So up 35% on the year so far. But the Fed's more dovish tones may have impacted equity markets. Futures ticked higher after this weekend's statement on inflation. Dow Jones Industrial Average increased 0.073. The S&P climbed 0.018. By close of trading Tuesday, the S&P had increased 0.6, surpassing its all-time high. The Dow Jones rose 0.4 to 39,331. And the NASDAQ composite added 0.8 to 18,028, exceeding its own record set a day earlier. So we're minting new records on all these on all these equity indices, right? So what does that mean? London posted a 39% increase at 8170, which puts it near its all-time high. All of these things are happening right now as we're looking at, oh no, why are we going down? Market participants have closely monitored the situation regarding inflation, and people are looking at these numbers. Benchmark borrowing is still at 5.25 to 5.5, which is the highest in 23 years. So at some point, everything has to slow down, doesn't it? Well, apparently not, because we're still not really slowing down. But here's the thing: everything is pumping. The only thing not pumping at this moment, crypto. And why is that not pumping? And again, might be just a little bit of a, oh, look, Mt. Gox is doing its thing, and people, kind of like, we're getting out. Well, guess what else is happening? This is the DXY. The DXY is starting to collapse. I pointed out here that I expected to have a big downside move. Well, it looks like that downside move could be playing out. Is it actually playing out? I don't know. If it comes down here to 104.5 and breaks down below it, then that's going to be a fantastic sight for Bitcoin, because that means that the 10-year bond yields, all of their yields, are going to start going down on bonds. And if those happen, then Bitcoin price becomes more favorable, because risk on assets become more lucrative for people, and they start getting excited and they start making those moves. Now, while we're doing that, let's take a moment here and let's go look at what happened in the market. Now, I pulled this up a little while ago, but let's go look, because it looked like, so here we go. 59,500, we didn't sweep into this range. So in the event that there was liquidity, that would be the small area where it would be. And then of course it did come up here at 60,700 a little while ago. And it looks like it swept through that range as well. So looking at the higher time frame, we also see at best, you can describe this as, I mean, this is a decent sweep, right? So it's not a bad move. The next move right here looks to be 65,000. So are we going back to 65,000 is the question. And the answer looks like on the charts, the answer to that is clearly a yes. If you can just kind of remember here, you know, we're still in this downward trend and we haven't reversed the direction. When you look at Bitcoin on this chart here, it doesn't actually show that. It still shows that we're minting higher lows. So one could say that we're probably in the realm of a big move towards that upside, right? All the indices are up. All Bitcoin chart, even if we're dipping to 60,000, we're just consolidating in range. If we have a crazy wick candle that comes down here and gets bought up immediately with strong pressure, I mean, that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. But I mean, if you consider here where we are versus this right here, like, and if you go down this way, we are minting higher and higher and higher. So the bull run's still on. We're just in that that nervous little phase right before. So let's just keep moving on. Crypto industry is about to boom. It's outperforming the internet, according to Architect Partners. This is a digital asset industry specialist over here that says the industry added more than 750 billion in value in the first half of the year. The crypto, the stepchild of the internet, is outperforming its predecessor at the same part of their respective life cycles. The digital asset industry is beginning a major growth phase and is in a far better place than it was 2 years ago. Investment bank Architect Partners said in a quarterly report published this week. The value of the crypto industry climbed more than 750 billion in the first part of the season, and that was the growth was driven by a surge in the value of crypto, equating to more than 700 billion. And the ETFs added 15 billion, and the appreciation of publicly listed crypto companies added a further 11 billion. So all of this stuff is happening real time, and it looks like all of this stuff is starting to play out. So Architect Partners also says that it is their estimation that Bitcoin will be at 100,000 by the end of this year. They are all looking at these crypto projects, and they're all saying the same thing, like the money is getting ready to pour into this market. So if that's the case, let's check out a little bit more. Crypto market sell-off. Why is everything down? The answer, Mount Gox. That's what's happening right now. And we also haven't gotten, we're getting that little despair portion where people are a little bit nervous because Ethereum, why is the ETF not being announced? Why is it not being announced? Why are we not talking more about it? Why is it not everywhere right now? That's what's going on. So with that being out there, that means that people are a little bit nervous and they're waiting to see which direction everything shakes. Because remember, if you're going to do it by the end of the summer, well, summer doesn't end until August. So you've got, you know, a month and a half before you would see the Ethereum ETF start. And that doesn't allow us to move on to Solana, which is the next big one that seems to be making its way there. So we're going to need some clarity on the Ethereum ETF. If it's announced, it's going to be unbelievable. You know, it's going to be an unbelievable big move. So Friday options expiry, by the way, looks like maximum pain spot right now is 63,000. So ETH options, it looks like max pain is at 3450. So we could see some big upside moves that should be coming very, very soon. Now let's talk about Shiba Inu, which the burn rate skyrockets 8,600% in a 24-hour period. And in a striking turn of events, SHIB coin burn rate was up 30,000% on Wednesday, 8,600 for the month so far. And even though that's happening, 4022 is now down to 4017. The rest of the market is capitulating, and that's what we're that's what we're kind of feeling at this moment. So but it looks like the highest burn was initiated by wallet 0x608, known for its consistent participation in the Shiba burns. It burned a staggering 13 million SHIB in 2 transactions. Another one did 4 million in a single transaction. Burns have had mixed impact on the price of SHIB. So just because it's there doesn't mean it's going to have some kind of it doesn't have it means you're not going to have some kind of wild move or anything like that, but it doesn't really spike the price. We've seen that it hasn't really spiked the price. And I think a lot of people are nervous. They want to see a real, if you have 500 trillion tokens, if you don't see something that says, well, we're burning like 30 or 40 or 50 trillion, if you're not seeing trillions being burned right now, and you've got them going, oh, we think we're going to burn a few million or something like that, some stupid shit that the developers are saying, then that's why you're not getting it. What you need to see is you need to see a jaw-dropping set of burn protocol that comes through at a moment's notice with SHIB, and it burns a significant portion. Now, does it take your crypto off of the chain? No. But if you contribute a serious amount of burn that goes into like SHIB funding, like you can't just take from people. Like I can't just charge you a 10% burn tax because nobody would trade it then, right? You have to come up with something internally, like the burn mechanism with Bone and SHIB. And by the way, if Bone is the gas, then I think that every time you use Bone for trading, a small portion of it should go into the Oracle, or like an Oracle pool or something like that, and that amount of Bone should be used to buy SHIB and then burn SHIB. Pretty simple. So why it's not, I don't know. So we'll see. But that's happening. And then not only that, but right after that, Bone lands a major listing in Canada. Bone's marketing lead, Lucy, has recently posted on X revealing a key update to the Bone Shiba Swap token. Dated July 3rd, the post revealed that one of the leading Canadian exchanges, SuperX, has started Bone futures trading. Now, Shiba Inu's Lucy reiterated another spot from the SuperX crypto exchange, highlighting the Bone perpetual listing. Meanwhile, the leverage offering is for the asset at 1 to 10x in an effort to maximize user appeal. The exchange revealed it might adjust the parameters from time to time to mitigate market risk. Nonetheless, the announcement has gained significant traction across the crypto realm as Bone remains poised to witness a substantial influx. And by the way, guys, when I told you Bone, and we were looking at the Bone chart, not just a short while back, I told you that I think there's a big move coming. And why do I think a big move is coming? Because it's been moving down this channel all of this time. And every time it does, big spike, dump, big spike, dump, big spike, dump, big spike, dump. Now the dump is going to lead to another big spike. This little area here and here and here is playing out like right here. And it's just a little secondary spike before another downside. Now the downside was right here. So this did give us lower downside. When we got lower downside, what did we get? We got a reversal and a gigantic spike. What did we get here? We got a reversal and a giant spike. What did we get here? We got a downward movement and we got a reversal and a giant spike. So we're about to see the same thing playing out on this chart in short order, and it's not going to take that long. I mean, I think that, Bone is set for $1.60. It is my opinion that if you were to hold on to a big bag of Bone right now, that you're probably going to see a big spike up to $1.60 on Bone in very short order, like over a couple of days. You're going to see just a massive move finally start to happen. And it'll probably coincide with the pump on Bitcoin as well. So that's what I think is going to happen on Bone. So if you haven't already, you might want to have yourself a little bit of bag. And also, Shiba Inu just updated 3 new features into their documentation. So according to Kuro's tweet, the documentation has 3 new updates. This includes how to build on Shibarium, how to become a validator, and how to bridge asset. The first update focused on giving out instructions on how developers can build and launch decentralized apps on Shibarium. Becoming a validator is the second update and has the procedures for allowing users to become Shibarium validators to preserve the integrity and security of the network. So then the last section is to bridge assets and how to move everything from a token bridge. So now you have documents for SHIB and how to run it. This is how you start to build these things. You're creating a sense of community. You're giving people information that they need in order to be able to build here, so that not just the technical nerds are out there doing it. So hopefully that will mean something positive. Now, Shibarium has been one of the most talked about developments in the cryptocurrency market. The latest data reveals that 5,740 fresh blocks have only been processed on Shibarium. This is a decrease of about 70% from the 17,000 on the previous day. So, transaction volume going way down, just like the rest of the market, by the way, going down. So I think we're fine, but all of these things, make people nervous. So get nervous with the market. However, let's move on from that and say Galaxy Digital says crypto venture capitalist sentiment continues to improve despite the market lull. Now, what does that mean? Well, crypto venture capitalist investments continued to rebound in Q2 despite a market lull, according to Galaxy Digital. The crypto venture capital sentiment continues to improve. The levels remain significantly lower than 2021, 2022 in the bull market. So now, Galaxy reports that venture capitalists are $3 billion into crypto right now, which is that looks like it's up slightly from the 3.16 billion in Q1. So significant amounts of money coming back into the market. The median deal size rose slightly from 3 million to 3.2 million. So there could be a lot of positive upside on some of this stuff. Now, the valuation and deal size continues to rise. The number of companies being funded continues to rise. The amount that these VC companies now have in these cryptos is continuing to pump. Of course, what does that mean? It means largely that the crypto market is about to have an explosive move. These guys are not doing this because they think they're not going to make any money. They're doing it because they know that these projects are going to absolutely rip. So if you aren't in on one, you might want to consider doing that. And finally, Binance Coin funding rate surge suggests a big upcoming price move. Now, remember, BNB capped out around 770 on this last run, getting to a new all-time high. One of the only cryptos, especially altcoins, that's having the kind of run, along with maybe Solana, Render having a breakout. Very few are having good movements, but BNB is one of them, although it's trading around 520 right now. Let me check the price. It is 558 right now. So after spiking this, it wasn't 777, it's 722, by the way, that it spiked up to. And after that, it started to go back into its little consolidation range, bounced back to its previous support level, and started to continue that consolidation in range. But it's still moving upwards. If you look at their chart, then it's kind of simple here. You can see that it just continues upwards, and this is moving up too. So you got a pennant prime for a breakout. And if it breaks out, then we might be looking at $1,000 Binance, a BNB coin in short order. So we'll see whether or not that happens, but it should be recognized that Binance is having just a really big move. There's an indicator, and it says this is called the funding rate for the future open interest market, et cetera. Right. According to Sentiment, the open interest had dropped to 420 million, but then suddenly reversed and went back up to 430 million. When you see a move like that, as big as that, that generally means that some positive money flow is coming back in, and that it's probably going to get a nice little surge. So if you don't have any BNB, you might want to have a little bag of that, because it looks like it's almost time for it to surge. Again, this doesn't mean that the market won't continue to sell off just a little bit. Doesn't mean that we're not done with a dip if we're still on a dip. Bitcoin is trading right now at 60,400 up, and we're down 66 billion in the market on the day. Again, Mt. Gox making people nervous, and by the way, Solana memes, everything just really got dirty, just sold off like real dirty today. So we'll see if there's any positivity by the end of the day. Around noon in the market today, of course, is when we might see a spike and a reversal. Now, by the way, when I speak of that, I do have an interview that I'm doing today with the creators of the Rakoff token. Got some big stuff that they're going to be talking about. We're not going to be breaking any news. We're not going to be breaking anything important, but we are going to do a quick interview and talk about all of the different things that are going on over there. They have a deal with somebody for exclusive rights to whatever it is. So we're just going to be talking about stuff that you should or could already know. So, but we are going to have that discussion today. So in the meantime, if you haven't already, certainly go check out the the DevvE ecosystem. The next 5 questions for the quiz are already up. If you get into the channel first, then you become the first person to answer those questions. There's 5 of them. You win $100 USDT, and you get put into a drawing for $150 in DevvE going into the end of this month, which there will be another drawing. And while we're at it, don't forget that you can go in and buy these t-shirts, Crypto Millionaire Loading, the Dev Squad, and then HODL, using the the words and stuff like that from regular crypto, from the Crypto Bro Army, if you will. Only we're using the DevvE logo in addition to all of the other stuff. And don't forget that Ray Quintana is going to be one of the keynote speakers at the Artificial Intelligence Annual Research Conference. I think it was in the Bahamas or Jamaica or something like that. But he's going to be part of that. He'll be one of the keynote speakers. And so check that out if you haven't already. Also, with Luna Classic, let's talk about that real quick, because got a little bit weird. So there is a price prediction right now for Luna Classic, and the price prediction basically says that it's not going to have a big move. It's just going to kind of keep going up a little bit, and it turns out that it's Coin Codex, again, just looking at a trend line and deciding that trend line sets it in a certain direction. So the short-term outlook on Terra Luna Classic does not continue to be awesome. Not horrible, but not awesome. And there's going to be a moment here. Here's the important part. Okay, given the current market conditions and performance indicators, it is unlikely that LUNC will reach $1 anytime soon, as suggested in some quarters. And nobody's saying it's going to reach it soon, by the way. Despite high liquidity and a negative yearly inflation rate of 0.68, LUNC's price has decreased by 10.3%. In addition, data from CoinGecko shows that it underperformed relative to 88%, of the top 100 crypto assets. So only 12% of the other assets underperformed compared to Luna Classic. I'm going to assume people like Cardano or Polkadot, or the dead chains, like those are the ones that are not having those big moves. And other than that, it's being outperformed by basically everybody at this point. Coin Codex does say that they expect it to run up about 10%. So be watching out for some kind of significant move. Now, as far as SAITAMA on Solana goes, it had a dip down to 36 or 35, 3.5 cents, something like that. And you can see here from this chart, it immediately, remember, I told you guys this is a dangerous sort of position here. That's where you get the breakdown, right? Well, we got an immediate and very specific big time set of buys that look to have come in here. A couple of decent sized buys started to come in. Started with 1,000. A couple of $1,000 buys, a couple of $2,000 buys. Some bigger ones are coming back in. Now it's still sell off in the market. Paper-handed bitches are still going to be paper-handed bitches. I mean, a bitch is a bitch, right? We know that. So we're not really experiencing a big or significant pump with Saitama. Hopefully that's going to change. Still waiting to see what kind of listing they're going to get with their marketing wallet and all of the stuff that they're doing. Right now, you're just kind of riding on hype, if you will, and the hype's over. So if they don't come up with some kind of announcement, then there's probably going to be some more downside. And you have to be honest about these kind of things, because if you're looking to exit in order to buy more or something down the road, maybe this is the moment for you to do that or something like that. You never know when it's going to flip, though, on a dime. You never know when that's going to happen. But as we sit right now, it looks like that we're going to be just fine. So again, I mean, it's going to have to pump a little bit. Needs to get to 5 cents again to kind of test the top of the Bollinger Band range, because it tightened up in that band, and then what happened? It broke down. So if it wants to rebound, it's going to have to break upwards very quickly. So and then finally, the rest of this is going to be brought to you by TradeMaster Ninja. We're going to be looking at some of the price actions and seeing what it looks like as far as what's predicting to happen. Now, starting with Bitcoin, did this again, bounced, and then we got a significant bounce back here to 64. But now we're starting to get less bounce, right? This is bounce. It's coming downward. Now, if you look at the 200 MA on the 1 hour, remember I told you it didn't look like it was still coming down. It looks like right here, it's kind of curved and it just started going back up right here. So it could be that we're done with that move. If not, what you're going to need to see is you're going to need to see a play right here where it bounces and gets back up into that 63, 64, 65 range so that the 200 starts to come back up. And if it does, then we'll be in good shape. But right now, the bounce that we're getting is not significant. It doesn't indicate that we're done. We could potentially be looking at more downside. So until we know more, I would be keeping my eye on maybe Bitcoin having another flash crash of some sort. The question is this: are you shaken out yet? Are you scared? I mean, I've seen people who've said, "That's it. I can't take it anymore. I'm leaving the market." I've seen people who've come in and talked a lot of mad shit, but I haven't really felt the despair. So I think we still need a little. I think we might still have a little bit more downside because that's when the cleansing happens, if you will. And 50, somewhere down here in this 56 range might even be the case, or lower, or lower. But I think that the market still needs to experience a little bit of pain so that everybody gets just like stunned and shaken out, and people are not getting shaken out like they could or should be. So with that being the case, probably some more downside. Ethereum, again, if they make the announcement today, I expect a $4,000 Ethereum by the end of the day. However, if they don't make the announcement, then it probably continue to kind of decline. We'll get a little bit of buyback. We get a little bit of pressure. Again, still minting higher lows in the longer frames here. We're dropping down. We drop down here. This one's higher. So, if that reversal kicks in, then we're good to go. Solana went from 155 all the way back down to 142. So that looks like Jump Crypto has re-entered the market and is still trying to, backstab everybody with their bullshit they do. Xverse is sitting around here. Not talking about that one. Fias at 2.7 cents. Myro down to 12.2 cents. Big downside. Pepe down 10%. Look at Pepe just kind of collapsing here. Again, this, all of these things are kind of in these ranges and they're not holding up very well because, altcoin guys are getting shaken out. Look at this Render, still a huge buy at this point. If you've got it, the stomach for it, grab yourself a little bit more Render right now. Dogwoof Hat, it's falling out of its range again here, might be more downside. One of them I want to point out specifically right here, Trump. I saw it this morning and I'm like, oh shit, $4.90. Came down here to 467, and then guess what happened? Look at this. This is what happened on Trump. It came down to that 470 range. I looked at it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy some at 470. And then the next thing I know, it was at 490. By the time I could even get the thing up to start making a buy, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like that was aggressive. And now it's aggressively being bought back up to 550. So big move for Trump token. So if you haven't already, you still get in on it because we're not done. We're not done with this, and most probably it's going to go at least to $18 again. So I mean, to be fair, it might be the easiest 3x that you've seen in a long time. Volt down another 10% on the day. Not sure exactly what's going on here. Of course, it was in the fours just recently. Bullet Rain got launched, which was right in this range right here. And then since then, it's just been kind of a downward momentum. So not sure what that's about, but, certainly would hope to see a little bit more. But again, when you're in this space, you take the good with the bad. Floki down 10% on the day. If you're a meme, you're basically taking it at this point. So that's it for my time, guys. It's 9:45. I got to get out of here. It's the last day of school. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to run the ad right now. We're going to get out of here. You guys have a good day. And tomorrow's July 4th. We'll be doing something July 4th. We'll be having an explosive rally in Bitcoin. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. But anyway, here's an ad. Folks, if crypto goes up, you need more crypto. If crypto goes sideways, you need more crypto. If crypto goes down, you need even more crypto. What better place to do it than Cryptonomy.finance? Remember, Cryptonomy is a hedge against whatever might befall this economy and this market. So let's check it out. Since the last time we talked, 2.3x return, 2.95x return, 2.37x return, 1.4x return, 1.59x return. Now in the meantime, I'm going to take my XRP. I've got 12,800 XRP. I'm going to max that out. I'm going to stake this for 9 months here, 71.8% yield return. That's going to give me an estimated amount, 9,208 more XRP. Don't you want more XRP? Now that I've done that, I'm going to go back over here to the launch pool. I'm going to throw in about half a Bitcoin. Again, I'm going to be in the bronze level, put 0.43 in. That's a good risk for me and a good return for me. Folks, it doesn't get any simpler than this. If you are looking for more crypto, stake it. That's what everybody tells you, right? So do that and you should be fine. I'm not a financial advisor.